Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're back with the classic series, ranking badges and tiers in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. This one specifically is going to be the finishing badges, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties. All the good stuff, let's try 1 to 1,000 likes. Now, if you're on the lookout for the playmaking, defense, and I'm going to be doing takeovers and takeover perks in separate videos, just stay tuned for that. It's going to be within the next couple of days. I'd like to think that what I'm going to do for the upload schedule is upload one of these every day, and then if I have a gameplay to add on to that, I'll double upload. So we're going hard on this next gen stuff, so I hope y'all enjoy. And this 2K22 is shaping up to be a really good year, man, especially for the channel, and I do appreciate all the support we've been shown throughout the whole course of this year so far. It's been amazing and life-changing, to be honest with you guys. So anyway, much love to you guys, and we'll get on with this tier list right here. Alright, so to start in the F tier, we have badges that I would not recommend no matter the circumstance when playing online. Now, with that last word online factored in, I really want to make the mention of Dream Shake because apparently, and I'm just going by word of mouth when it comes to the post scores out there who are grinding my career, apparently Dream Shake is a complete S tier badge when it comes to playing against AIs. Now, for online, obviously it has zero impact, zero use. You should not use this at all. In my opinion with Putback Boss, I know it affects more than just getting putback dunks and unlocking the animations that you can get when tapping X going for a rebound, but in my personal opinion, I do feel like it's a very bad take if you need a boost to your standing shot when it comes to a dunk, as in if you're going up with something that's contested in the first place and because you need a boost on it for getting the rebound and going back up with it on a contested person, whether it's probably a big man, albeit at that, I really don't think it's a badge worth running in that sense. If you're somebody who likes the flashiness of getting an actual putback dunk when tapping X button coming in for a rebound, then so be it. This is probably your cup of tea, but for me personally, from a competitive standpoint, it belongs in the F tier. It doesn't serve any actual purpose toward winning a game, in my opinion. Alright, so all alone in the E tier, we have Teardropper. This badge, in my opinion, is more a victim of the fact that you can go for contact dunks whenever you want in this game. So with the contact dunk right stick being a thing, and the fact that you can get the dunk meter to pop up, you can almost force contact dunks to actually happen. It's just obviously you need to be in good position and be going for it on a less tall person to actually have a really big meter. But long story short, I don't really see any reason for a floater or a teardropper in the game personally, but if you're somebody who's an outside point guard, it might help. Either way, I feel like with how crazy block animations are in this game and how great of interior defense someone can play, if you're driving straight at them and they go for a block, they are swatting that stuff into the next universe if you try and put up a floater, if you ask me. So in my opinion, would it be cool if floaters were useful? I do think so, yes. It'd be really nice if you could actually float them over a defender rather than just kind of tossing it up there lightly as a layup half the time. But in my personal opinion, Teardropper, not really worth running in the first place. And then from a competitive standpoint too, if you're on threes or something like that and you're going for a contested finish, if you're somebody who can't even get a contact dunk in this exact situation that we're talking about, you're probably not in a good situation in general. You'd probably just be taking a fade on the mid or staying on the three-point line or hitting your big man on a slip or something to do with getting a two-point shot or a different way of actually getting a two-point shot than a floater. So that's my opinion on Teardropper. In the D tier, we have Giant Slayer and Fearless Finisher. Now, there's going to be some people out there who might be hating on this right here of where I'm putting these two badges. Me personally, what I've read and what I see from the two badges, that they only help on layups, or for Fearless Finisher, it also helps absorb contact and prevent you from draining stamina and stuff like that. Me personally, I just feel like both these are pretty low tier badges. Giant Slayer, obviously, like I said, prevents you from getting blocked, but it also says nothing about dunking or anything like that. And in this game, in the case of, again, where you can trigger off a contact dunk animation whenever you want, or to go for an aggressive dunk, again, whenever you want, you really don't even have to see a layup. I've probably taken like 8 layups in this game with me having 99 driving dunk. Now, again, this is the finishing badge tier list. This is mostly going to be pertaining to slashers and post scores probably. But if you're somebody out there that doesn't have driving dunk rating for whatever reason and only has driving layup, and you're small and your build has good driving layup, for whatever reason you upgrade layup and not dunk, I don't know. But if that is your exact situation and you're small and you are a good three-point shooter and very fast, then Giant Slayer is probably the badge for you, if you even have any finishing badge points at that point. But anyway, for Fearless Finisher, I will say this is probably better than Giant Slayer, especially in terms of variety of how it fits everybody's game and everybody's style, and the fact that it also adds in the fact that you absorb contact, and really not a horrible badge. I just think what it truly is, it's more of an accessory badge. It's something that you could probably run on bronze, silver, if it fits. A nice little budget, especially with this year, how if you run it at a lower level, it'll be a budget badge that you don't have to spend as many points on as if you were to put a super high level and then it takes up like 6 finishing badge points, whereas you can run on silver and probably just have it cost 2. Alright, so now into the B and the C tier, where you're going to see a lot of badges. So for the C, we have Rise Up, post spin technician, back down punisher, acrobat, and unstrippable. So we're gonna start from the left to the right. Rise Up, in my opinion, super good badge, especially for the pick and rollers and stuff like that. If you're a post scorer who's working underneath and you're going for like the contact dunks on the standing dunks, which is really weird and very rare to see from post scorers in this game. But I will say the drop steps, which you're gonna see in the next tier list as well with the B, but with the drop steps, you add in Rise Up, and then you also have the fast twitch as well, which will also be higher on this list. Anyway, factored in all of those things, Rise Up, fast twitch, and drop stepper, it's really a lethal combo. I do feel like, however, Rise Up is probably the lowest tier of them all because you can still get standing dunks without it, but I've seen a huge increase on my build from nothing to bronze, and that's all it gets is nothing to bronze. And I really rarely ever touch standing layups anymore. Like, it's extremely rare that I don't just get a standing dunk, and I only have 72 standing dunk on top of that too. Now this is for wide open that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about super contested off the drop step or anything like that, which again, Rise Up will help you with, so that's a very obvious thing about that. But either way, very solid badge. I recommend this on at least bronze for anybody who's playing as a big man, and for post scores and stuff like that, obviously super high. So in this tier, you see a lot of post scoring related things, so we'll stay on that topic with the post spin, the back down punisher. So how I feel about both these badges, I do think they kind of contradict each other. They're both what you do to work toward getting closer to the basket as a post scorer. One is with power back downs, the other is with more finesse post spins. And I do feel like post spin used to be higher on my list when it comes to stuff like this because it's the absolute 100% way that you get down lower in the post. Because in previous games, back down punisher used to be kind of an overkill because of how you could pull the chair super easy by just spamming your stick backwards. But now in 2K22, where you have to actually time it with your B button, and obviously if you spam B, you're gonna flop. It's a little bit harder to pull the chair, and I feel like you're a little bit more safe and comfortable going for back downs, and back down punisher does see an increase off of that. I've always thought of this badge as kind of useless and not worth anything because it makes you more vulnerable and more prone to the actual chair pulls and stuff like that, which everybody will spam if they know about it, and you will obviously see people do it and do it effectively in previous games, but in this game it's a lot harder to. So that's why I have back down punisher a little bit higher than I normally would, and post spin a little bit lower than I normally would. So now for acrobat and unstrippable. For acrobat, I might be really sleeping on this badge because as I saw it and I was reading it, I haven't exactly used it a whole lot in my own perspective, but what I read from it and what people were saying as well on Twitter and stuff like that, or just my YouTube comments on the streams and stuff like that, what they were saying about acrobat is that it's almost tied in a way to fancy footwork, where it helps you on gathers and hops and stuns your defender and stuff like that. So acrobat might be the new fancy footwork, and I might be sleeping on this really hard. I'm gonna test this out myself. Obviously with these videos, I see a lot of people asking for this and for me to hurry up and get these videos out and stuff like that. I need help figuring out what badges to run. I need help figuring out which ones are good, which ones are bad. And with this is gonna come a little bit of misinformation or lack of my own information when putting it together, but I will let you guys know when I do feel some type of way about the badge and I don't know enough about it, and I'll let you know about that. So again, acrobat, it's something that I don't know 100% about, and I'm going to test it further. And I'd recommend if you're watching this video and you want to test it yourself, think of it as more of a B tier badge and see the good in it rather than the bad, because like I said, it may factor in a lot when it comes to dunking. It says only layups, but as far as the game knows, when you go for a Euro and then get a dunk out of it, or you go for the hop step and then get a dunk out of it, they don't know that you're going for a dunk until you actually hold the X button off of the hop step. So, and it might even help as well in terms of the spin dunk that I love to do with the double tapping X. So I'm definitely going to test this badge out. I will for sure let you guys know on it, and having a build that has super high driving layup might even be good just because of it. So now we got unstrippable in the C tier as well. Now the way I see this badge, not a lot of people run ball stripper, the defensive badge that counters it, and not a lot of people even go for the X button steals when you're driving on them. And albeit as well, if they're super undersized, that's their only hope and their only chance. And a lot of the smaller undersized people also don't have very good steal rating unless you're actually like an intentional lock, and in which case again they're probably going for the block either way. But long story short, like I said, this badge, not a lot of people run ball stripper, and this is only going to live off of whether ball stripper is meta or not, and unstrippable doesn't really factor in a whole lot. However, for the situation that I did run into somebody who has the ball stripper, having it on bronze was very helpful in terms of stopping it. And honestly, the dude came around and played the exact same way when we were on twos, and I popped the badge on pretty much instead of having none and put it on bronze, and I definitely saw an increase. Now that could just be all luck and chance that the second game when I did have it, I wasn't getting stripped as much, and the first game when I didn't have it, I was getting stripped at least maybe once or twice pretty much, right? But either way, how I see this badge, it is going to be good. It's going to vary a lot throughout the year based on how people attack interior defense, or if they are just super tall. Most people that are above 6'6" or 6'5" are probably not going for many ball strips when it comes to somebody coming into the paint on them. They're probably going for the block, and that's just going to be the end all be all of it. So unstrippable, probably not the highest tier badge, but in the situation that you are somebody that doesn't have very high three-pointer, it could be a saving grace badge for you, because you are going to struggle if there's somebody with a high steal rating and a high ball stripper and all types of stuff like that, and you don't have unstrippable. You're definitely getting plugged. I saw it firsthand on stream in the 1v1 court, and that was definitely tough. The dude was just camping paint and just spamming X. I couldn't do really much about it at all. Now, I do maybe think that hop steps and stuff like that could counteract it if people are just spamming for the steal when you're going for the contact dunk. So that's something to keep in mind too. I think unstrippable will also factor into that as well. So for instance, on hop steps, I feel like you might get stripped a lot less often, and that might also help you counteract the fact that they're going for the steals while you're doing the hop. Whereas again, going for the contact dunks, definitely tough if you don't have unstrippable and they have ball stripper. All right, so we got a lot of these in the B tier. So you're gonna see Grace Under Pressure, Pro Touch, Hook Specialist, Lob Finisher, and Drop Stepper. So 4 of these pretty much are just post scoring badges, and I gotta say, post scoring in general is very good this year. Tall bigs are very useful in terms of their actual utility versus how they were in 21 current gen, how they were in 21 next gen, how they were in 2K20. I feel like tall bigs have definitely seen an increase, and I can 100% admit to that, even if I am Mr. Hate on Tall Bigs Laker all the time. But anyway, with all these, I'm going to kind of just tie them all into one thing, especially when it comes to the Grace Under Pressure and Pro Touch, and then Hook Specialist as well. I mean, simply put, this is good for standing dunks and post hooks pretty much. And when I say standing dunks, I also mean standing layups. But either way, Pro Touch, hook shot type badge. Hook Specialist, hook shot type badge, obviously. Grace Under Pressure, good for hook shots and standing layups. And just really in general, if you ask me, this badge just makes it so when you're tall and you're going against someone who's small, they have no chance at all. And then we'll talk about another badge as well that is a little bit higher up on here, but that factors into that. But long story short, post scorers are dominant again, and it's going to be real tough to match them unless you have a tall big as well. With drop steps are even good in general in this game too. This is the most balanced post scoring game I've ever seen. However, it's just dominant in all types of balance. So they can still do post spins. They can still back you down well because they made the chair pulling harder. They made drop steps still as good as it was at almost maybe even its peak. They made hook shots good. Post fades are good. Honestly, just overall, post scoring is good, and it's going to be a real pain to just play it on 2v2, so that's why I'm going to definitely do my fair share of staying away from that court. But either way, like I said, expect to see a lot of post scores out here, and this is why I have all of them in the B tier badge. I wanted to make sure that I had them a lot higher than I normally do, because normally I'd be hating on post scores. In the last 2 years, I've thought that it's really not all that great, and really just you're lame for running a post scorer in general. But I'm not going to hate on people for how they like to play. It is what it is. Anyway, for Lob City Finisher, this is actually a very good badge this year. If you put this on silver, is what I've been running it for the most part, and I'm sure it sees a huge increase at Hall of Fame as well. But your meter sees a gigantic increase in the size of it and stuff like that too, and that's huge for the sake of being a consistent lob finisher. I mean, if you are somebody who's running pick and roll, or even if you're a cutter or anything like that off the corner in Pro-Am or something like that, and your team likes to send a lot of corner cuts or wing cuts or anything like that, Lob City Finisher is going to be a must finally. And I gotta say, it is nice to see this badge finally up here in this tier list for me. And obviously, you know, I could sway this however I want. I could have put this here if I wanted to in previous games. But in terms of like my true to myself and putting these in the tier list and stuff like that, this used to be like down here, or like at the most like right here. But this used to be an E tier badge, and it was so horrible and so trash. But honestly, this is actually a really high tier badge in terms of the fact that, again, you have to time your dunks on your alley-oops, you got to time it on your contact dunks, even if you go for the aggressive dunk. And obviously that doesn't tie into the lob finisher, but for alley-oops in general and in specific, it's super important that you have this badge up high and actually have a good driving dunk or standing dunk rating. But on top of that, again, like I said, the badge increases the size of your meter gigantically and is going to make it super easy for you to finish these lobs. So here we are to talk about even more things to do with standing dunks and standing layups, as if post scoring wasn't already dominant enough. Now on standing layups and standing dunks, they're even more dominant too. So with fast twitch, what I've seen a lot of these dudes come out here and do is just sit underneath the basket and keep spamming pump fakes until you jump, and then just like that, they go up super quick. And Pogo Stick is still good. I will say Pogo Stick has definitely seen an increase from what it had in 21 next gen and current gen. It feels like in between 21 next gen, current gen, and then between that and 2K20. So 2K21 and 2K20, I would say Pogo Stick is like right in the middle of that now. But they added the badge fast twitch in, and now if you just jump in general, you're just kind of out of place. So if you're going against a post scorer that has fast twitch, it's definitely a pain. If you're a pick and roller and you are running like actual pick and roll with an inside big, or even just in general with like a popper that also is still rolling, fast twitch is great. Honestly, it speeds up the process of your dunks, and just in general makes it harder for you to get blocked on or chased down from the corner, from the defenders behind you, anything like that. It's a fire badge. I gotta say, I never thought I'd see a standing dunk related badge to be so high on my list, but fast twitch is amazing. This is definitely a must-have for any pick and roller or post scorer out there. Now, unfortunately, the whole MO of this video is just talking about tall players not being able to guard by small players, which, you know, if you came from 21 current gen, you absolutely love to see that, because you could get locked up by a 6'5" in current gen, if we're being completely honest. Like, those dudes could still defend you very well, play shots albeit too. So anyway, mouse in the house makes it so you as a tall player just absolutely dominate a small person. I've even seen this from my own perspective, even at 6'6", going against like a 6'2" point guard, and you definitely can dominate, like even in the terms of driving dunk. But let's just not even get started on the standing dunks and standing layups, bro. Mouse in the house combined with grace under pressure, combined with pro touch and hook specialist and stuff like that, and rise up and drop stepper and back down punisher and rise up, like I said, bruh, it's just post scores in terms of like underneath the basket, they're insane this year. Like, you really cannot beat them with that. So a little bit debatable for me to put 3 badges in the S tier. I will say, if there's a definitive number 1, it's gotta be posterizer. Like, there's no debate about that. It's definitely the best finishing badge in the game. It's always going to be like that, and really it's just getting boring at this point that it's so good. And when it comes to these tier lists, I'm just like, okay, well, posterizer, you're going in the S tier, no doubt about it. Now, slithery finisher is probably the most debatable one. I would say this is definitely number 3 on the S tier. This could easily see its way down to the A. And you know what? Just because for the sake of the video for you guys, I'm going to leave this color coded as an S tier badge, but move it down to the A tier, because it's definitely nowhere near as good as these two, but I think it's still better than these 2 badges right here. So slithery finisher is very straightforward, very simple. Obviously, it's going to help you get around people and give you more dunk animations pretty much. I'll just put it like that. Now, that combined with the fact that you go for the down on the right stick contact dunks, it's really nice. It definitely looks pretty good in terms of helping you actually get the contact dunks and stuff like that. But the long story short is, it's nowhere near as good as limitless takeoff and posterizer. So limitless takeoff, I'm telling you, bro, if you're a point guard out here and you have this badge, you are dominating. I'm talking like if you're playing 1v1 court or 2v2 or anything like that, and somebody's got to respect your jump shot and you have limitless takeoff, bro, it's crazy. You just do tomahawks from like the free throw line on a guard anymore. And that never used to be a thing. PGs used to struggle with getting dunk animations, or if you did it too early, they would just, you know, pull up for a mid-range on accident instead of actually getting a dunk. With limitless takeoff, they go through the roof. Like, I'm talking, I see Kitchen only has Michael Jordan dunk package equipped on his build, and that man be soaring from the free throw line on demand sometimes, and it really is crazy, bro. So limitless takeoff is fire. And then if you're an actual slasher, like you're going for contact dunks and stuff like that too, limitless takeoff probably helps you in terms of like how far away you can initiate the contact dunks from, and that's super convenient for if they're camping paint or something like that. And obviously you're trying to just, you know, build up speed, all types of stuff like that. I will say though, limitless takeoff is a probably more relevant badge to point guards than it is true slashers. Now for true slashers, this is the end all be all badge for you. I'm talking, it makes the contact dunk meter bigger. It helps you make dunks just in general. You probably can even get some contact dunks with the X button, if we're being completely honest, when you have posterizer. And really, it's just what you need as a slasher. Simple as that. Even for bigs too. Obviously, it helps you get the standing like pro contact dunks and elite contact dunks and stuff like that. So anyway, it's a very obvious thing that posterizer needs to be the number 1 badge. Limitless takeoff is a very good number 2 though. And then again, we'll put slithery back to the S tier just like this, and everybody who skipped to the end of the video won't even notice that I had it down here. They're gonna wonder why. You know, they won't even know what I just said about all this stuff. So hey, I appreciate all you guys who watch. If you do skip to the end of the videos though, I will say I do still appreciate you clicking on these, and if you feel free to drop a like on them as well, I do still appreciate that. Obviously, you know, a lot of you guys come here from my descriptions on the badge, but a lot of people also just click on to see on the surface and on the face of things where I put everything, and then they just kind of just judge my opinion based off of that and don't even have the, they don't even care to hear what I have to say about it or anything like that. So at the end of the day, I really do appreciate the people who stay and watch the videos all the way through a lot more. And I never try and just BS you guys with like stupid insight on things. Like, I actually give my true thoughts on every badge and reason why I might have them in a certain spot, or why they might not fit competitive game modes or anything like that, or how unstrippable fits a true slasher more, and you might need it in the situation of like somebody having the ball stripper. But if they don't have ball stripper, then it's just completely useless. You don't really need this badge at all on anything more than bronze, really. But you guys get what I'm saying. I do appreciate you guys watching and actually listening to my descriptions and reasons of why I have the badges in certain spots. So hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Like I said in the intro, let's try to do Like I said in the intro, let's try to use 1 to 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put / in the comments. It sure supports me all the way through. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed, and stay tuned for all the other tier lists. Like I said, the schedule and idea that I have for the uploads is I'm going to start with the finishing. We're going to do defense tomorrow, and then I'll do playmaking or the takeover perks or anything like that. Long story short, it's going to be something between defense, playmaking, takeovers, and takeover perks within the next 4 days. And then I will also factor in gameplays as a double upload if I have any good gameplay stuff coming for you guys too. So that's all for the video. And like I said, if you made it to the end of the video, put / in the comments to support me all the way through. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.